So remember, 2 blocks. You can use obviously a blanket as an alternative to that to elevate your hips slightly. And we are going to be using a strap because I want to really get into that fight or flight response into the old hamstrings there, which is lovely. So let's begin really. So I'm going to start seated first of all, then we're going to check in, constructive rest, and then we're going to move through some upper body stretches and yeah. So we'll start here. We'll just take into the visual field. We'll do a little bit of centering and grounding and orientating. Check in, dropping down into the body, really important. Tuning in, finding out what's going on, setting intention, constructive rest, and then we'll do some nice upper body stretches just to get rid of that tension. Because when we're stressed, when we're tense, when we're anxious, we really hold that in. We hold the tension into the body. So what I'm hoping we can do today is we can take up space to breathe, to stretch and release, to get rid of that tension, to get rid of what's holding in, the body knows the score. If you've got a specific area of tension that you're going to find in your body scan at the beginning, we need to release that, okay, to be open to that, to sense, to experience, to feel, to be curious, but to try to open it out a little bit. That's really important. And then we will do some nice sort of working a little bit of sun breath just to connect mind and body, some nice hip stretches, some nice back stretches, some nice shoulder stretches, and then finishing with some nice hamstring stroke deep hip stretches, full body, okay. Some of the stuff you'll remember from what we've done before in a different combination, but I could do something with a bolster, but not everybody's got a bolster, but we will do something like that soon. So let's just, first of all, working with this idea of orientation. So we're telling our amygdala, our limbic system, our fear system, that we are safe. So taking the visual field, bring your awareness to your body and the ground and your breath at the same time. Just notice any colour or objects, the quality of the light in the room that you're in, anything that draws your attention. And if you can, turn your head and notice the quality of how your neck feels as you're aware of your hips on the floor and you're aware of your breathing. Really good for anxiety, this. Really good if you're really struggling a little bit lately. I'm just picking out things and as if I've never seen them before. I'm thinking, that's a nice colour green now, that little bit of sort of intense burn. Oh, well, like that. Nice. And you're just tuning into your body, tuning into your breath, tuning into how your neck and your shoulders feel. Try to relax your jaw a little bit. Feel that softness in the upper chest, even though I'm elevated on the blocks to give me that nice spinal lift. Rooting down to rise. So if we're feeling down or depressed, we can be a little bit like this, but we can elevate that mood by shifting our position in our body. So really think about posture, shift in the posture to feel empowered and strong, feel lifted and energized. Lovely. So pay attention to my sound of my voice and any sounds that you can hear inside of your room and the sound outside of your voice, so outside of the room, sorry, and tune into your hearing, really amplify that. And at the same time, really notice your body and the floor, the position of your hands, your breath. And then a really good energizer as well. Amplify your sense of taste by flickering your tongue over your soft palate. That sort of works on a nerve in your brain. And also amplify that sense of smell and touch. Really working with physical, remember we're working with proprioception, physical sensation. We need feeling to healing. When you're really, really stressed and anxious, or if you're numbed out or traumatized, you are really not feeling anything down here. So feeling to heal is really important. So really feel that tactile sensation of your hands rubbing together. Rub, 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 rub. And then smell. Because the heat will amplify the smell of your hands. So whatever soap you've had on, or cream, or antibacterial wash, which I've been slathered in today, doing outside yoga with the children on social distancing. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to come down onto your back into constructive rest with your knees bent. Pop a block underneath your head if it feels nice, because we're going to have our eyes closed or a soft gaze, and we are going to try and tune in with the sensations of our body, because whatever is going on with your physical body, you're holding any physical tension. When I do emotional body reading, it's amazing what you can find out. Whatever's going in there usually registers here. So we're going to tune in, close your eyes, soft gaze, and we're going to bring our attention to our whole body. So just first of all, feel the contact of your body against the floor, your feet, the back line of your body, your back of your hands, knees together, feet wide, knees bent. And just really focus on that sensation, grounding sensation, which makes your body feel safe. You know you're safe. Your fight or flight response will calm down. And just bring your attention to the whole of your body. I want you to really tune into and really feel the entirety of your body. I want you to sense all of your body, and I want you to notice the area that has the most sensation. I want you to find that spot. I don't want you to judge it. I just want you to be curious about it. I just want you to notice it. I want you to just label and name it. But I don't want you to look at any reason why it feels this way. We're just going to move around the edges of it like a pile of tennis balls. We don't want to go into it too much. We only titrate, we only pendulate. We never really actually go in. Just notice it. And then notice the quality of your mind speak today. How is your mind, you know, if you think about that metaphor of the, you know, the jar, the glass half full or empty, half empty. You know, how is the quality of your mind speak on a level, a scale of positivity and negativity? Maybe how fast your thoughts are today. Are they running away with you? You've got a bit of a monkey mind. Is your monkey mind really, really, really sort of jumping around and yada yada? And then check with your heart space. Just check your emotional heart center. How are you feeling on an emotional level today? Just label what that is. Just be curious about that. And then set an intention for your practice. What is it that you would like to achieve from this practice today? What's your intention? What would you like? A wish for your own well-being. Lovely. And then I want you to really focus on your breath. Just really, really focus on the quality of your breathing. Is it shallow? Is it up in your upper chest? So what I want you to do on your inhale, I want you to feel a sense, on the inhale, a feeling of uplifted sense of energy, a sense of lightness, a sense of stillness. And then pause after you inhale, and then exhale out of your mouth and imagine a sense of letting go and releasing stuff. So remember what we're doing here. So you're trying to positively uplift, inhale lightness and stillness, pause, and then exhale out of your mouth, feeling that sense of release. So we're inhaling through our nose and exhaling out of our mouth and pausing in between. If you need to place your hand on your abdomen, see if you can really breathe into that abdominal space so that you've got that really nice, deep abdominal breathing. You're deepening and you're filling and you're expansive in that abdominal area as opposed to your chest. Remember, inhaling lightness, inhaling energy, inhaling upliftedness. It's almost if you're lifting off the ground and pausing. And then you feel your whole body drop then in that sense of heaviness. So there's the lift and lightness in the inhale and the pause, and then the drop. As if you're dropping all of the baggage that you just don't want to have anymore. Just like, poof. You know, 2 big suitcases full of the baggage of your head. Poof, drop it on the floor. Lovely. And then when you feel ready, just slowly roll onto one side and then come up to a cross-legged seated position or whatever feels comfortable. Elevate your hips with the block, and then we'll start working on that upper body area. Ground. So elevating your hips is really important, because if you've got very, very tight hips and hamstrings, your knees will come up quite high. So you need to elevate them in some kind of way. It doesn't matter where your legs are as long as you are seated. You can be on a chair or whatever feels comfortable for you. And then let's do some deep shrugs. So I want you to really focus on the contact between your hands and your knees and on your thigh area, and really focus on the feet and your hips on the blocks. Okay, so we're keeping that grounded experience, but we've got that lift. So remember, inhale, lifted in lightness, and exhale, letting go and release. So we've got a nice tall spine. We're rooting down as if you've got roots going down to the floor, root to rise. Lovely. And then we're just going to inhale, feel that lift, and then we're just going to and just let all that tension go. Inhale. Squeeze up to your ears really nice and tight and just go. So we're mirroring the fight or flight stress response, but we're letting the tension go at the same time. So inhale through the nose and exhale out of the mouth. And just let that drop. Remember just to keep that contact between the body and the floor, and that nice gentle lifting upwards. And then work with your shoulder circles. Squeeze your shoulder blades together as you come back, and then forward and up towards your ears and down, and try to use the breath. Really focus on your breath, the body, the ground, and the inhaling up and the exhaling down. Drawing the circles as if you've got felt tip pens on each side like that, and you're drawing big circles. Nice big circles, getting that tension out of there. And then reverse. Really squeezing shoulder blades up and out towards the ears, and then you come down on the exhale, nice and floppy and relaxed. So you've got that inhale and that lift, and exhale, release. And then just come to a nice central position, and then we'll just do some nice neck rolls, and just, I want you to close your eyes over soft gaze. Really feel the contact again in that long spine, but I want you to really focus on that sensation. Let's try and be more somatic. See if you can really feel what's going on with your body as you do half circles. So inhale, left ear, whatever to the shoulder, and then drop your chin towards your chest, nice long spine. And then on the inhale, towards the opposite shoulder. So as you lift your ear up towards your shoulder, inhale, and then exhale as you drop it towards your chest. Now we should really focus on what's going on. We should really focus on your hips on the floor, and really focus on the sensations in your neck. What's happening with your ears, sides, and the scaling. So levitate to scapula. That can you feel the tension just behind your shoulder blades as you the opposite side of when you're putting your, say, your ear to the left, and you're feeling in your right shoulder blade. Just rolling it and focusing on that sensation. Breath to movement, hips to floor. Feeling to healing. Nice. And then working with that occipital ridge, which is that bit where we get a lot of tension, where the neck, the cervical spine meets the bottom of the skull. So place, put your finger on your dimple of your chin, and your chin's parallel to the floor. And exhale, make yourself a double chin as you wind your neck right in. And then inhale as you pull it out, almost like a draw going backwards and forwards in a chest. And right into that occipital ridge. A lot of tension going on there on the occipital ridge. Inhale out, exhale in. And then do the love hug. So cross your, place your hands over your shoulders, so your fingers are going over your tops of your shoulders. Do the love hug. This is quite nice as well, it's quite comforting as well, because it does release the feel-good hormones of oxytocin. And also it's a nice way to just feel a nice little bit of self-care. You know, when we're working with self-compassionate touch, especially when we do self-compassionate mindfulness. So we're just going to work a little bit with depressing one of the shoulders. So with the love hug, depress your left shoulder and pull it down with your hand. So you're pulling your shoulder down towards the floor, and take your right ear towards your right shoulder. So you depress the shoulder and do the opposite ear towards the opposite shoulder. So it's not the same side with the love hug. So I'm pulling down my left shoulder and I'm taking my right ear towards my right shoulder. And then release. Keeping your chin parallel to the floor. And then I'm pulling down my right shoulder to take my left ear towards my left shoulder. And then release. A little bit of a side bend, so I'm going to take my left hand towards the floor, okay, and I'm going to place my right hand behind my head, and we're going to just do some little bit of seated spinal twist, so we're going to do some rotations. So my hips are glued to the blocks, my left hand's on the floor, my right hand's behind my head, and then I'm going to exhale, rotate my elbow and my upper body towards my left arm, and then inhale, really open and arch your back a little bit, so you take your elbow behind your head towards the wall behind you, and then we'll do that 4 more times. Inhale, open, exhale, twist. Inhale, open, exhale, twist. Inhale, open, and for the last time. And then opposite side. Okay, so remember, hand to floor, glue your hips, hand behind the head. Exhale, down, twist, and inhale, really open. So we're going closed, chain, open, chain. So we'll do that 3 more times. Nice spinal twist, keeping that spine. Using all planes of movement is really important for the spine. Keeping it very healthy. Side bends, twists, folds, back bends. Using the planes of movement to keep it nice and healthy. Lovely, well done. So what we're going to do then, obviously, is come into a mudra for that pec stretch. Very tight pectoral minor and major. The front bit's caused by being curved over desks and working all day. So nice big interlace your fingers behind your back. Okay. Chest lifted, spine long, really focus on your hips and feet on the floor. Inhale, take your hands away from your back or grab opposite forearm. Nice big inhale, lift, 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 lift. And really arch your back a little bit, chin parallel to the floor, and squeeze your shoulder blades together. So you get that nice pectoral stretch. Right into the here, but here. Very tight. Nice. Lovely. And then we're going to, this really works into the pectorals. We're then going to work on a little bit of the rhomboid stretch, a nice rhomboid stretch. And then release, just shake it out a little bit. Rhomboid gets a bit niggly, it's just underneath your shoulder blade. It's shaped like a rhomboid, being rhomboid the shape obviously. But it's a mid-back, mid-thoracic stretch as well. Interlace your fingers and then flip your palm out. Nice big in, okay. And then inhale, take your arms all the way up towards the ceiling, pineapple stretch. Lift and lengthen out the side of left and right side of your body. So you're really lengthening, 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 stretching, pressing as much as you can towards the ceiling. And then exhale, round your back like a cat. Really, really super round it as you drop your palm in front of you. And really drop your head, really super round your back as you push your hands away to get into that rhomboid stretch. And then release nice and slowly. Whew. Just finish it off with another pectoral stretch, just to stretch it out in the opposite direction, just to take that tension out of the hands again. Okay, interlace your fingers, nice big inhale to lift and lengthen as you lift your hands away from your back. Get that nice stretch, squeeze your shoulder blades together and a slight back bend. Nice. You will need your strap now, going into cow face. So with your cow face pose, okay, we all know how to do cow face. You've got 2 options here. You can do it like this. Grab your elbow and pull it across, okay, or take the strap, like so. I'm just going to do a little bit of a cheeky cheesecake look there, as if I am Dita Von Teese. Well, hello. And just take that all the way up there, loop it around the fingers, use my hand to keep my elbow going up towards the ceiling, and then you're trying to close the loop, the gap. So you really focus on your hips on the floor. You will come into a back bend arch, and you will tuck your chin in slightly, so don't worry about that. So you come into that deep stretch, or you're pulling this elbow across this way. And don't forget to breathe and tuck your lower ribs in, so you're not really pushing your hips forward too much, so you don't get any tension in this lower mid lumbar area here. Tucking your lower ribs in is really good. And then release and do it the opposite side. So you loop-a-loop. Hello. Well, hello. And then obviously bend your arm, elbow up towards the ceiling, grab that strap, trying to close that gap between both hands, or pulling it, this elbow across to the opposite side so you get that stretch. And release. And then we'll do a little bit of eagle stretch. Eagle stretch is my favourite stretch for upper body tension. All this stuff we've been doing now, you can easily just watch for a few minutes. Every time when you're having a break from working on the computer all day, these stretches are really good. Okay, so into arms wide. Okay, I'm going to bring this, the inside of my elbow, I'm going to place my right elbow on top of it, so they're stacked on top of each other. Okay, and this is my left arm, thumb, I really want to see those fingers, backs of hands together or palms together. Okay, or the hug with your fingers around your shoulder blades. Nice big inhale and lift. So really focus on your feet, pay attention to your body on the ground and the breath and the sensations of this position. If you want to add to it, you can draw circles and then reverse them. And then release and then shake it out a little bit. Whoa, shake it off. Okay, arms wide, and then we're going to place my right elbow inside my left, backs of hands together or palms, so it's like a little twisted, just twisted like so, or hugs with your fingers around your shoulder blades, spine long, focus on that body against the ground. Nice big inhale, lift your elbows, whether you're doing the snog hug or you're doing this one. Lifting up, and then you can add some circles. Even if you've crossed your arms, you can add some circles. Nice. And then release. Lovely. Whew. And then just shake it out. Do a little bit of sun breath now. Sun breath is really important. Let's just connect mind, body and breath together. And if you feel like it, call your spirits. Mind, body and spirit. So, palms facing up, either side of your hips, and inhale as long as it takes to get your hands all the way up towards the top, and then exhale with your palms facing down. Inhale, sun breath, and exhale. Just notice what's going on there with that sensation. Inhale, and that nice calming sensation. Bringing your awareness to body and ground and breath, and just notice how you feel as you do those lovely long breaths, as long as it takes to move, and exhale down. Very Tai Chi, isn't it? Very calming. It's all about the quality of softness. Strength is a quality of softness. Lovely. And then we're going to start working on our spine before we work onto the hips. I'm a very overactive mind at the moment. I can read too much and talk too much lately. Oh! Okay, so what we're going to do then, you might want to use your blocks if you want, just to put them underneath your hands. My wrists are a little bit tender at the moment, so I like to have something there. Or you can roll your mat up underneath your wrists, like so. Okay, and put it underneath the actual wrist area rather than the pads of your fingers and your fingers. Okay, lovely. So we're just going to come into child's pose, whether your knees are wide or knees together, but my toes are touching. Exhale, just push your hips back. Push, push, push. Exhale, nice. But I'm going to come into some little bits of side bends poses. I'm just going to push that block back. And I'm just going to take my left hand off the mat and cross
my right hand, place my right palm on top of my left hand and just breathe into, try to keep your chest, both sides of your chest are flat and they are level and they are perpendicular to the floor, and just breathe into that right side of the chest. And then crawl your fingers all the way over to the right. So take your right hand off the mat and place your left palm on top. And do the same again and feel that stretch into the left side of the body and breathe. And then come back to centre. And then just come up into tabletop position with everything nicely stacked. And then just take your right leg out for a deep inner thigh stretch. So make sure that your knee is directly underneath your hip. And this ankle is in line with the hip, but your foot is going forward. Okay, it looks weird from where you're seeing it. It looks like I'm at an angle, but I'm not. It is level. So very, very slowly tuck the foot that's bent underneath your hip. So this is your left foot. Tuck it under a little bit and very, very slowly come back. You can use your blocks underneath your hands and very slowly in this deep inner thigh stretch, very slowly come back down until you feel comfortable. You don't have to go the full way. You can have the tops of your feet flat to the floor or tucked under, depending on where you want to be with that stretch. I'm tucking it under, but I'm just going to see what it feels like if I just have the top of my feet flat to the floor, because I'm going to go a little bit deeper into this stretch because my hamstrings and my thighs are a little bit tight at the moment, and I just want to see how that feels. No pain, remember, if you feel any sensation, come out of it. And inhale to come up, and then I'm going to do that the opposite side. Just bring that in, might wiggle your hips a little bit, just circle it. Ooh, hey, hey. So go for the opposite side this time. So left leg out, foot forward. That knee, oh, just check my alignment, make sure that knee's underneath that hip, just check there. Tucked under or foot flat to the floor. That left foot pointing forward. Very slowly, because this is very deep in a thigh stretch. Some people might find it easy, some people might find it challenging. I find it a little bit challenging. I'm just going nice and slow. I'm looking after myself this week, so I'm still a bit not too great, but you know what they always say though, don't they? The show must go on. Besides, let's stay busy. And then inhale to come back up. Whew. So, that's quite intense. Nice. So what we're going to do then is we're going to come into puppy, thread the needle. So puppy is quite a deep back bend. It's a nice stretch into the shoulders as well. So you get a nice stretch all the way along the spine. So knees hip distance apart. Okay. Knees underneath the hips. And we're going to keep the hips up because we're going to slide forward. It's called heart melt pose as well. So very slowly, making sure your hips are directly over your knees. Just let me double check my alignment. And then very slowly, very, 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 very slowly, melt your heart towards the floor. Very, very slowly, very, very slowly. So you're melting your heart space. So place your forehead on the floor or your chin so you look forward. Really pull your belly button in towards your spine and lift your lower abs up towards your head so you're protecting your back. You should feel a very deep stretch underneath the armpit and into the shoulder capsule. So if you feel as though you're gripping and resisting, can you soften into the pose with the exhale? Really feeling the feet on the floor and your hands. And then very slowly, use your hands to push yourself back up. So if you want to get a little bit more into this posture, you can place 2 blocks. Okay, and you can place your elbows on the blocks, like so. Hands into prayer position, Anjali Mudra. And drop your head in between in between your upper arms and take the back of the palms so that your thumb touches the back of your neck. So you get a deep, 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 deep stretch now into your biceps and triceps. And then slowly come up, and then we're going to come into Sphinx. Ooh, I love a Sphinx. Oh, Sphinx is, oh, now, actually, just let's push yourselves back into child's pose. Just do a nice counter position before we go into Sphinx, because it's another back bend. So, come into tabletop, knees, toes touching, knees wide or knees together. Another child's pose. Exhale, push back through your hands, take your hips back towards your heels, and just come down, forehead to the floor. Very relaxing, very calming. Any pose like this, which is a fold, is very calming to the nervous system, especially if you place your forehead on a block or on the floor. Lovely. And then we're going to come onto the front of your body. Oh, oof, everything's all a bit cranky today. Taking it steady, especially when you've been running around with about 15 kids between the ages of 5 and 14. Ooh, what's it like? So, tops of feet into the corners of your mat. Nice. So that we can create a little bit of space, because pressing the frontal hip area into the floor elongates the lower back and prevents any sort of pinching, okay, any compression of the spine and the lower lumbar, because L5 is always where everybody has a problem. Okay, so really, elbows directly underneath shoulders. Your elbows are a forearm distance apart, and they are parallel like train tracks with your jazz hands. I really want to see those fingers. Vic and Bob. Ooh. Pull down your dove from above. Okay, so parallel that chain track. So press your hips, the tops of your feet and your forearms into the floor. Really press, press, press. As you lift and lengthen, your shoulders up and your ears away from your shoulders, and you lengthen into that Sphinx pose with your chin parallel to the floor. And pressing the hips into the floor really protects you. Now pull your core in, pull your lower abs in, really tuck in those lower ribs to protect your spine in your Sphinx pose. Sphinx, Sphinx, Sphinx. Walk like an Egyptian. I hate that song. When I went to art college, it was the only song that used to play at every lunchtime, because I used to go to the pub every lunchtime. Sorry to say that, when I was 16, I did. When I was at art college. It was Word Up by Cameo and the Bangles. That was the I like Cameo though. Word Up is pretty cool. But anything with a man with a red codpiece is great. Sorry about that. Distracting myself again. Right, so what we're going to do then is we're going to take this into a version of half frog in Sphinx. So we're going to take your right leg, bend it so it's a 90-degree angle, so that your knee is in line with your hip. Keep pressing and keep pressing your forearms away from the floor, so you get this stretch. So you get this deep, deep stretch into the psoas muscle. If you feel any pinching, just go back to the original pose. So this is half frog, half Sphinx. Ka-ching. Okay, and then release. If you need to, just relax a little bit. Make a pillow with your hands. We'll go to the other side and just wiggle your hips a little bit to see if you get some tension out there. Don't want any pinching in that lower lumbar spine. It's too hot to move today, I must admit. I'm finding it's like walking through treacle. Okay, so again, press tops of feet and your front hips and your forearms into the floor. Lift and lengthen, push your heart through your upper arms. Lift and lengthen, and then Sphinx stroke
frog on the opposite side. So you work, really press into the floor. You're not collapsing, your ears are separated from your shoulders as well. Full frog is a nightmare. I hate it. I don't do full frogs. Full frogs is doing both legs at the same time. It's when you get prepared for doing middle splits. Do I look like a Ghana girl who does middle splits? And then slowly release that down, and then we're going to push back into child's pose. Put your hands underneath your shoulders. Okay. Tuck your toes under a little bit. Push your hips back towards your heels, just to come into that counter position. Oh, that's cranky. Oh, that's cranky. And not the crankies as in the twins. I mean, as in the crankies, the comedy thing. It's just cranky in the old lower back there. Ooh. Yeah, hey. Cranky. Okay, we're going to come into a scorpion twist, so we're going to really get into that kind of front pectoral, pec minor major. Well, hey! Deep stretch this, really good for opening up the shoulder, but remember, because this has got a little bit of neural lengthening in it, if you start to get fizzy or pain or stabbing or anything, please, 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 please don't do it. Ease back as well. Just be very mindful of this one because it's quite a deep stretch. Neural lengthening is you really shouldn't do any more than 5-9% or something. So I'm placing my left hand underneath my left shoulder. My right arm is straight and it's level with my shoulder. And my ear is on the block. I'm going to lift my left leg. You've got two options. You roll onto the arm with your legs on top of each other, so you're on your right hip like so. Use your left hand to push you, okay? Or your left leg's lifted off and then you come into that, you make your little scorpion tail behind that foot, okay? So you're opening up the front shoulder and you're creating space in that front shoulder area as you're rolling back onto your arm. Now, if you feel any pain doing this, don't go too far, ease back. And then release opposite side. Oh, hay fever. I always get it on the grass. Oh, oh, oh. I get hay fever every Thursday because every Thursday I go to the kids, do stuff with the kids, and I get hay fever. Okay, so again, use the block to support your head. You don't want any crankiness in your neck. Okay, and then roll onto your outstretched left arm. Or you stack your legs on top of each other while you're rolled onto your left hip. Baked potato shoulders. And release. Whoo-wee. Oh yes. So you're going to really feel this a little bit. Oh, I'm just going to come into seal pose, which is a classic yin yoga pose. Yin yoga as in mixing the ancient science of Chinese meridians and yoga. Okay, so my hands are forearm distance from my shoulders. My palms are facing out like flippers. Think of it as being like a seal. Feet at the corner of your mat. Okay, my hands are going, rotating out to 45 degrees. Okay, I'm going to press my hips into the floor, really press my hips into the floor, and very, very slowly pull your lower ribs in and your belly button towards your abs. Strong core, straighten your arms as much as it feels comfortable. Really press your hips into the floor as you come into seal pose. This works on your kidney meridians. Your kidney meridian. It's all to do with certain energies. If you're into that kind of thing. Now make sure that you've not got your ears all up towards your shoulders. Just separate them. So this is your seal pose. So if you've ever seen a seal, I have massive things. California. I was in San Francisco. Big things to do with this dog thing. And then slowly, oh, nice and slow, come down. Make a pillow with your hands and really wiggle your hips from side to side. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We'll do some strap work now. Let's get some strappy work going. Deep strap work. Now, hamstrings. Fight or flight response is trapped in your major muscle groups of your legs and your hip flexors and your psoas muscle. So if you've got an anxious body, anxious mind, these are the areas where there could be. But also if you're in a numb kind of freeze flop state, it's good to get that body moving again. Isn't it just? Okay, so strap. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. So we're going to do general shashasana. One-legged stretch. Okay, so you might, I think it's always a good idea to have some elevation underneath the hips. Roll up your mat, put a blanket underneath your hips. Otherwise, you'll find that your body will round more than be flat when you fold over. So you can roll up your mat a couple of times and make a little bit of a lip. Okay, this helps you to tilt forward with the flat back easier rather than round forward like that, like Cousin It. Not Cousin It, I mean Uncle Fester. Okay, you might need a block for underneath that bent knee. Sometimes that's nice, isn't it? So this foot is nice, gentle bend inside of it. There you go. Bend that, sole of the foot inside of the thigh. Put a block underneath it if your hips feel tight, and you've got the strap around the ball of the foot. Your foot. Now with the strap working the hams for this fold, which is calming, releasing. Okay, if you've got very, very tight hamstrings, you can bend your knee as much as you need to. Okay, that's the important thing. If you are straightening your leg, micro bend in that knee, don't lock it out, and squeeze that thigh muscle and pull your kneecap up towards your head, so you get that reciprocal inhibition release of the hamstring. So right on cowboy, block underneath that thigh or whatever feels comfortable. If you've got tight hamstrings, it's nice to have a little bit of elevation. Nice big inhale and fold with a flat back from your hip crease. Lift and lengthen, inhale and fold until you feel the stretch. So we've done quite a lot of back bends. It's nice to do this. Just go as far as you feel possible, feel comfortable. So every time you want to go further into the stretch, lift and lengthen, inhale, fold. You see, if you don't have a yoga strap, you can use this belt out of loop out of your dressing gown. Inhale to lift and lengthen and fold. Try to keep everything nice and flat and just come into that stretch. So we've done a lot of counter positions. It's kind of nice, just stretch it out. Oh yeah, oh yeah. That release there. Okay, and then inhale to lift and lengthen, and then grab that strap with your left hand. So we're almost going to be coming into sort of like an inner thigh stretch. So knee bent, okay, so you can have your knee bent or that straight. Remember, micro bend knee, squeeze the quad, okay, and we're going to come into a side bend, okay, so we're going to come into a side bend. Okay, so nice big inhale, take the arm up, opposite arm to leg, flex that foot, knee bent or straight. Nice big inhale, chest lifting, spine long, and then come into that side bend. Try to keep the arm active so you stretch the quadratus lumborum. Okay. And I like to bring my elbow in a little bit and rotate my chest up towards the ceiling, so I'm not collapsing forward, I'm rotating, got that rotation there. Sometimes it's nice to just drop your head, just drop that ear towards the shoulder and just get some tension release. I'm just going to drop my ear towards that shoulder. Just take my arm behind my back and just see if I can get any crankiness out of that ear and that neck. Oh, yeah. Right into that scalings there with my double bind. And inhale to come up. Oh, intense. Intense indeed. Okay, opposite side. So I'm going to turn around and do it the opposite way, so I'm always facing you. And I'm very mindful of these things. Never used to be before. There's such a difference between zooming, recording these things. Okay, so right leg this time, because that was left before. Right arm cowboy. Okay, nice big inhale to lift and lengthen. Block underneath there. Squeeze that quad or bend that knee. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, fold. Inhale to lengthen and exhale, fold. Blanket under hips to give that slight tilt of the pelvis. Fold. Inhale to lengthen. Squeeze that quad. I like to really squeeze that quad to get an extra little bit of stretch in there. The more I squeeze that quad, the more I release into the stretch and release that hamstring. Squeeze and fold. Nice long straight spine if you can get it. Don't forget to breathe. And then grab that, come up on the inhale with a nice flat back, and then grab your strap with your right hand, same strap, same leg. Okay, same hand. Okay, and then we're going to come into the side, a little bit of a side bend. So I'm just going to take this knee a little bit further away. Okay, you've got that knee bent, knee straight, squeeze that quad. And then nice big inhale, active stretch, because you're stretching this QL here, the muscle just either side of your spine, above your pelvis. Inhale, side bend, rotating this chest up towards the ceiling so you're not dropping or curving. I'm just going to put my elbow in there so I get that push and rotation. Push and rotation. And then if you just want to drop your ear towards your shoulder and take that hand behind your back so you get that deep stretch right into the neck here. Whoa. Better than sex. I like it. Whoa, you know when you're just getting rid of that tension in that neck and you just go, oh, shoulder release. Tremendous. And then inhale to come up. Oh, talk about cranky. Let's get a nice deep hip stretch there just to, whoa, nice. Sorry about that, I sound like I'm enjoying my own yoga practice there a little bit too much. Okay, so blankets, come into a deep hip stretch. So coming into bound angle pose. So we'll come into the IT band TFL stretch first. So create a diamond. I like to get a block. Create a diamond shape rather than a triangle. Feet together. Okay, you can put blocks underneath these knees. Okay, or anything else to pad them and weigh them up. So I'm a bit of a funny one here because if I'm doing a bit of yin yoga, I just prop myself up and I hold myself there for a long time. So inhale to lift and lengthen, spine, and then fold with the flat back. And I just pop my forehead onto the block. You don't have to, because if you feel as though that's just comfortable and that's about as far as you want to go, that's great. Neck long, spine long, neck in line with the spine. You can deepen it by really pushing into the elbows, into the legs. So you're pushing your knees down a little bit more to the floor. And you get that deep stretch. Or if you want to go a little bit yin, just like that. You can, I just get 2 blocks and then just go, just hold myself there. Stretching's good. Do it when you're watching TV. That's what I say. If you feel as though you haven't got time and you're watching Channel 4 News, sometimes that's the best time to do it, isn't it, love? You know, you get on, you just go, oh, hey, hey. Okay, and then inhale to come up with a flat back. And then we're going to come through the deep inner thigh stretch and pull your heels towards you. So it's more of a triangle as opposed to a diamond. And diamond's our girl's best friend. No, they aren't. A good support bra is. So you can put your blocks underneath your knees, whatever you want to do there, just to give you support. Yeah, I'm elevated my hips. Nice big inhale to lift and lengthen, and then fold. Deep stretch. Deep. This one's more of the inner thigh, the other one was the outer thighs. So you try to keep your spine long, so you're not rounding over like this. So you've got a nice lifted spine, and you lead with your heart centre as you fold. So you're not leading with your forehead, because when you lead with your forehead, you go like that. Lead with your chest and your heart, and you go like that. Tremendous. And then coming out of this pose will be a bit cranky. So the best way to come out of this pose is to place your hands underneath your knees. And very, very slowly, very, 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 very slowly, bring your knees together, because it's going to go, whoa, and it will feel a little bit, oh my God, it's so bodacious. And then you will just tap your legs just to get them back into that movement, so they feel that they've got a bit of life going back through them. They feel good. Yeah, so the get that blood going again. Okay, let's get ourselves down into the final resting pose, and the most difficult. Right, I managed to get 15 kids to not move today, which was very good, in one class. Doesn't mean to say the other two was. So yeah, get yourself comfy, you can bolster under your knees, eye mask, blanket under your head, blocks under your head, just relax. And spend a few moments getting yourself into that sweet spot of the beauty of Shavasana, which is probably the hardest pose of all, isn't it? So, that was tremendous, that. I really got rid of my crankiness. I must admit I was in a very bad mood before I started doing my yoga, but now I'm in a place of complete calm. It's amazing how it shifts your energy. So get yourself into that perfect sweet spot, and I'm going to come to the front of the camera so I can hold the space and that my voice will carry better. So just relax. Okay, so just allow your body to become heavy. Just drop your body all the way down into the floor. Just focus on all points of contact between your body and the floor. And try to feel 5 or 10% more comfortable than what you are now. Perfectly still. Again, reacquainting yourself with the points of contact between your body and the floor. And feel your whole body. Begin to notice your breath and feel it as it moves throughout. Paying attention to wherever you feel it the most. You may feel it in the rise and fall of your abdomen, the rise and fall of your chest. Feel it as it moves through your nostrils. Don't try to change it in any way. Just notice it. Notice it as it moves through the parts of your body. And imagine as if you're bringing your breath into each of these areas. And if you notice any physical discomfort, try to imagine that you're bringing your breath into that area that troubles you. Begin to focus now on the tips of the toes on the left foot. Try to feel into each toe and the spaces in between them. Picture your breath in the tips of your toes, slowly moving that awareness now to the bottom of the left foot, the ball of your left foot, and then into your heel. Notice what is in contact with your feet right now. Don't worry if you feel absolutely no sensation. Just notice what it feels like even to feel nothing. Move your awareness into the top of your left foot and the ankle. Allow this awareness to continue through your lower leg, your calf and your knee, to your upper thigh. And notice all the muscles in the left leg. Try to notice all the muscles and the contact as well that your left leg has with any surfaces that are holding and supporting you. Now focus on the tips of the toes of the right foot. Again, feeling into them and the spaces in between. Slowly move your awareness into the bottom of your right foot, the ball of your foot, and the heel, and whatever is holding and supporting you. Just notice the sensation. And then move your awareness into the right ankle and the right foot. Continue through the lower leg, your calf muscle and your knee and your upper thigh of your right leg. Try to notice all the muscles in your right leg. Try to feel any contact that your right leg has with anything that is holding and supporting you right now. And then try to focus on both of your legs. Try to think of the support your feet and your legs have provided for you every day. And move your attention now into your hips. Try to notice the lower back and slowly moving up your back. Notice every bone and muscle you encounter as you move towards your shoulders, breathing in to any tension you have in your back or shoulders. Taking in the fresh air and releasing any tension you have here on the out breath. Move to your abdomen and notice the rise and fall of your belly as you breathe. As you move up to your chest and ribs, try to feel the sensation of your heartbeat. And from there, bring your attention into the tips of your fingers. Try to feel each finger and the spaces in between them. Pay attention to the air around your fingers and to any contact that your hands have with anything else. Really notice the sensations of your hands and focus your awareness on them. Moving through your palms, be aware of the sensation of the backs of the hands, wrists, forearms, your elbows, upper arms, and shoulders. Slowly move up to the back of the head and the neck. Try to notice how your head is, which is the position maybe of the hair on your head, muscles, tiny capillaries underneath. Move forward to the front of your face. Notice your forehead, your eyebrows, your eyelashes, your eyes, and notice your ears. See if you can sense your cheeks, your nose and your mouth, your tongue, your teeth, your jaw, your chin, and finally your front throat centre. If you can, try to pay attention to your nostrils. See if you can notice where your breath comes in and goes out. Now focus your awareness on your entire body. Imagine a tiny little hole the size of a quarter or a 5-pence piece in the top of your head. Almost like a dolphin's blowhole. Imagine breathing in through this hole and gently moving the air all the way down through your body, releasing out through the tips of your toes. Inhaling to the top of your head and exhaling down through your feet. Try to slowly breathe in and out like this for a minute. Inhaling through the top of the head, exhaling down through the soles of the feet. Keep that visualization of movement. Just notice. of that focus of the breath. Allow the breath to become normal and natural. Let go of that visualization. And try to notice how you feel at this specific moment. Try to bring yourself back from this meditation. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. And only open your eyes when you are ready. Take in how you feel right now, expanding your awareness outward. If you can, if your eyes are open, take in the visual field. Notice where you are in time and space. Pay attention to sounds. Bring an awareness to your body against the floor. And if you want to stay here a little bit longer, take your time. Or if you feel as though you've finished your practice, come up to a seated position. Thank you very much for this practice. This is the last for this month. We begin again in September. I will be posting out what's happening and emailing out to, and just look at what's happening on Facebook. Take care. Namaste.